Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled Jump First, Build on the Way Down. Here we go. Here's a quote that's kind of fun, not because it's motivating, although it is, but because it captures something true about leadership that most of us spend years trying to unlearn. Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn and one of the most consequential builders of the last 2 decades, said this: "An entrepreneur is someone who will jump off a cliff and assemble an airplane on the way down." When I first heard that, my instinct was to smile as I am right now and move on. It sounds like a clever bit of startup bravado, a badge of honor for people who thrive on chaos. But the longer I've led and the more leaders I've coached, the more I believe this is one of the most honest description of what leadership actually demands, not just in business, but anywhere you are responsible for taking people somewhere that they've never been. Let me tell you what most people get wrong about this quote. They hear it as permission to be reckless. They hear Hoffman saying, just go for it, figure it out later. Who needs a plan? That's not what he's saying, not even close. What he's describing is a different kind of readiness, not the readiness of having every answer before you move, but the readiness to move before you have every answer and to trust yourself, your team, and your accumulated judgment to build what you need in real time. That is a fundamentally different posture than most of us are trained to adopt. We are trained in school, in corporate environments, often in life, to gather information first, to plan thoroughly, to get approval, to de-risk. And none of that's wrong until the moment it becomes an excuse to never jump. Here's what I've watched happen to leaders across industries. They become so focused on the quality of the plan that they lose sight of the cost of delay. And delay has a cost. Every week you wait for perfect conditions is a week your competition is in the air assembling something. Every decision you defer until you have full information is a decision someone else is making without you. The great leaders I've worked with don't have better information than everyone else. They have better judgment. And judgment, real judgment, is not something you develop in a conference room with a whiteboard. It is forged in the air. It is built through the experience of having jumped before and built something that actually flew. Sometimes barely, but it flew. Here's the other thing Hoffman's quote quietly insists on. You're not jumping alone. An airplane is not assembled by one person. It requires trust, delegation, a team that knows their role and executes without being micromanaged in the descent. The leaders who survive the jump are the ones who built that team before the cliff appeared. That's the quiet, practical wisdom buried in a quote that sounds like it's about courage. It is about courage, but it's also about preparation of a different kind. Not preparation of the plan, preparation of the people. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Not whether you're willing to jump. Most of you listening to this have already jumped more than once. But whether you're building right now, while you have some altitude, the team, the trust, the culture, and the judgment that will allow you to assemble something worth flying when the cliff comes again. Because it will come again. It always does. The leaders who thrive are not the ones who avoid the edge. They're the ones who learn to build on the way down.